ABC Kinderteach presents Lion, written by William Penne duBois. Long, long ago, high up in the sky, way above the clouds, there was a white and silver what? Palace. It was called the Animal Factory. A place that makes animals? I wonder if that's what it is. It had 3 rooms. There was a white fur room for cold days and a white feather room for hot days. It had a roof made of silver fish scales. Looks like they're playing tennis. They might be angels because they have wings. This looks like some sort of steam engine. A slide. High up, just under the roof, there was a bright, light room made of crystal glass and diamond rocks. It was called the drawing room. In that room, 104 artists sat on silver stools behind 104 white wooden tables. They sat in rows and drew pictures of animals. They worked with sheets of pure white paper, very white, ermine brushes. This is a weasel, and ermine brushes are made from their hair. Dipped in gold paint, there's the gold paint, and 8-sided boxes of wax crayons. There's the crayons. They made up new names of animals, which they wrote down in gold letters. They made up new animals, which they drew in clear colors. It was in this way that animals were first invented. Before they were made, before they were flown to the planets of the universe, there was one artist who was boss. His name was Foreman. When he was quite young, artist Foreman won a medal for the first animal he made up. It looks like that. It was called, worm. Later he grew up and became boss and stopped drawing, but one day he thought of a new word, and the new word was lion. "I have made up a wonderful name for an animal," he shouted. So he's thinking, there's this animal that I'm going to draw. I'm going to call it a lion, and then he has to draw it. "I am going to draw an animal and call it lion. It will be beautiful." The other artists were too busy working to hear him. The other artists made lots of noise while they worked because they made sounds to go with the animals they drew. The drawing room was filled with moos, meows, woots, bow wows, tweets, and whistles. So while they were drawing, they would make the sounds that the animals would make. Artist Foreman went to his closet. He took his drawing table and carried it out into the drawing room. He put it near the crystal windows. He reached for his silver stool, I guess to sit on. He took a sheet of pure white paper, a new ermine brush, his own gold paint, and sharp wax crayons. He sat down, took his brush, dipped it deep in his own gold paint, and wrote lion. He wrote it in big letters. He didn't leave much room for his drawing, so he made the name lion so big that he didn't give himself very much room to draw the lion. "And now I'll make up a lion," he shouted. He looked at his sheet of paper. He scratched his head. He looked some more. He blinked his eyes. After a long time of looking, artist Foreman said to himself, "It's a funny thing. but I do not quite remember how to make up animals. It's been forever since I made one up. I think I'll look at what the other artists are drawing." He took a walk through the row of tables. So he was getting ready to draw his picture of a lion, but then he kind of forgot how to do it. So he's going to walk around and see how other people are doing it to remind him of how to do it. In the first row, he saw a drawing of a terrible animal named alligator. In the second row, he saw a big furry animal which looked nicer, named bear. This one looks a bit like a polar bear. The artist drawing bear was softly growling. Grrr, grrr. So he's making the noise of the bear he's drawing. In the third row, there was a fat animal with feathers named chicken. So first row, second row, third row. He walked on, looking left and right until he came to a striped animal named zebra, which was in the last row. He's getting some ideas about what to draw and how to draw. "It's beginning to come back to me now," said Artist Foreman. He quickly drew a small, fat animal. He used every one of his colors. This does not look like a lion to me. It doesn't look like anything. "The lion is good looking," said Artist Foreman to himself. He looked at it some more. He scratched his head and thought, "That is lion, and it will say peep peep." So he thinks the sound that a lion will make is peep peep. That doesn't sound right either, does it? He looked at it some more. "It's been a long time since I've made up an animal. Maybe the lion isn't quite right, though I'm quite sure that it is." He looked at it some more. "Lion is such a lovely word that maybe I should ask just one other artist for just one word about lion. Then I'll know that lion is just right." He took his drawing to an artist in the fourth row and said, "Tell me in one word what is wrong with the lion." Wow, there's many things that are wrong with this lion. The artist looked at the small, fat, bright animal. He giggled softly. He looked up and said, "Size." Artist Foreman was happy to hear this. "Lion is beautiful," he thought to himself. "Lion is so beautiful that it should be much bigger." So he's deciding to make it a bigger animal. He took another sheet of pure white paper. He wrote lion in small gold letters. He drew lion much bigger. He said peep peep as he drew lion. So he still thinks that lion is going to make a peep peep sound. "Now it is just right," said Artist Foreman. He looked at it some more. "I wonder why that artist giggled." He looked at it some more. "Maybe lion still isn't just right," thought Artist Foreman. "I must ask another." He took his drawing to an artist in the fifth row and said, "Tell me in one word what is wrong with the lion." So he's been in the first row, second row, third row, fourth row, and now he's in the fifth row. The artist looked at the big, fat, bright animal. He giggled softly. He looked up and said, "Feathers." Artist Foreman turned red and flew back to his drawing table. No wonder the artists were giggling. Artist Foreman had made a terrible mistake. He had put feathers and fur on the same animal. He had given lion a crown of feathers around his head and neck. We know that's not the way lions look. He looked at it some more. Artist Foreman turned red again. Lion had a tail like a fish. Feathers, fur, and fish scales, all on the same lion. Wow, that does not look like a lion to me. He quickly took his thumb and pushed it down hard on the drawing of lion. He rubbed all the bright-colored feathers together until they became a yellow-brown color. He took a dark brown crayon and covered the head and tail with dark brown fur. "Peep, peep," he shouted. "Now it is right." And his face is a little bit red because he's feeling silly. He looked at it some more. "Lion is such a lovely name," he thought. "I must ask another artist about lion." He took his drawing to an artist in the, yes, not the 5th row, but the 6th row. "Tell me in one word what is wrong with the lion." The artist looked at the big, fat, bright, all-fur animal and said, "Color." Artist Foreman was rather happy to hear this. It was right for a tiny animal to be all in bright colors, but wrong for a bigger animal. He took his thumb and pushed it down hard on the drawing of lion. He rubbed it until the body and legs were all yellow-brown. "Beep, beep," he shouted. So he kind of squished the colors together so it would look like this. He looked at it some more. "The next artist will surely tell me that lion is right," he said to himself. He took the drawing to an artist in the 7th row, not the 5th row, not the 6th row, but now the 7th row, and said, "Tell me in one word what is wrong with the lion." The artist looked quickly at the big, fat, yellow-brown, all-fur animal and said, "Legs." This made Artist Foreman angry. "I have given lion 4 legs," he thought. "That's usually right for furry animals." He looked at it some more. "Well, maybe the legs are a little thin for such a fine fat animal." He made them stronger. "There now, peep, peep," he said. "I'll ask one more artist, though this time lion is right." He took the drawing to an artist in the 8th row and said, "Tell me in one word what is wrong with the lion." The artist, whose turn it was, looked at the big, fat, yellow-brown, all-fur, strong-legged animal and said, "Haircut." Artist Foreman didn't like this at all. He took the drawing back to his table. He was now very angry. "Beep, beep," he shouted. He looked at it some more. "Well, maybe the fur is too shaggy for such a great animal." He took an eraser and rubbed some of it away. He rubbed it off around the body. He rubbed it off around the legs. He rubbed it off around part of the tail. He didn't dare touch the head or the tip of the tail because he was afraid the feathers and the fishtail might show through. "Lion is now beautiful," he sighed. "Beautiful," he shouted. "I am sure lion is right." He looked at it some more. "I know lion is right. Beep, beep." Of course, he's still giving it that peep, peep sound rather than a roar. He ran with his drawing to an artist in the 9th row, not the 7th row, not the 8th row, but the 9th row, and said, "Tell me in one word what is wrong with the lion." The artist looked at the big, thin, well-trimmed, yellow-brown, all-fur, strong-legged animal with the bushy mane and the tasseled tail. And so there's the bushy mane there, and there's the tasseled tail. He looked at it closely, and from far away, he looked at it upside down. He looked at it sideways. He looked at it through little holes he made with his fists. He finally looked up at Artist Foreman, smiled, and said, "Nothing." "Ah!" shouted Artist Foreman. "I knew it." He tried another artist. "Tell me in one word what is wrong with the lion." "Nothing." He tried another artist. "Nothing." Jumping with joy and laughing and shouting, Artist Foreman hurried off with his drawing to see his boss, who was the chief designer. He flew through the great windows, because he's an angel. "Yes, Foreman, "Oh, sir," said artist foreman, "please, please, tell me in one word. Excuse me, I have made up an animal." Well, that looks like a lion, doesn't it? "Its name is Lion. I bring it to you." "Lion is a nice name," said the chief designer. "Let us look at Lion. Lion is handsome. Lion is well drawn. I will make 2 lions, foreman, and send them at once to planet Earth." So they're going to send it to our planet. "I wouldn't be surprised if Lion were welcome there as the king of beasts," which is what they call lions. "What sort of noise does Lion make? Does Lion roar like thunder?" "Lion goes peep peep," said artist foreman. No, you are right. Lion roars like thunder. Thank you, sir. You are too kind, too kind." "Good day, foreman." Artist foreman bowed his head, turned quickly, and flew back to the drawing room. He sat down on his silver stool behind his white wooden table. He looked at the heavenly view through the crystal windows. He was feeling very happy. He smiled, leaned back, and roared like a lion.